Hello everyone, Mark here from 1000 Simple Recipes. Today I'm making crepes filled with spinach, mushrooms and goat's cheese. Now this dinner meal is quick and easy, can be made beforehand, heated and served. Now the combination of the fresh flavours in this meal make it a must for you to try, so let's do it. These are the ingredients for our crepes, but as always, the ingredients and amounts and the recipes in the description box below. And I've just got some flour, I've got some eggs, a pinch of salt and some milk. And also I've got half a tablespoon of sugar here for our sweet crepes. You just leave those out for your savoury ones, of course. And also you can add 15 grams, half an ounce of melted butter to this recipe to give it a richer taste to the crepe, but I'm not going to do that I don't think it's necessary, but if you like butter then go for it. We're now going to put our crepe batter together. Now this is very simple and it's basically combining. I'm just going to throw my pinch of salt in with my eggs and I'll just whisk those up. And I'll just add a little bit of the milk to start with. You could do this with a hand beater, of course. Just add my flour. And we're just going to gently bring that together. And then we'll add the rest of our milk. Now, if you're making sweet crepes, you would put your sugar in now too. Just add the rest of my milk now, and we're just going to mix this up, and once that's done we've pretty much finished our crepe mix, and we'll just set this aside for say at least 30 minutes just to give the batter time to come together. But if you don't have time to do that, you can just cook them now, but leaving them for about half an hour is always good for the crepe batter. Here's our ingredients for our savoury crepes, and I've just got an assortment of mushrooms. I've got some browns and some field mushrooms. You could use anything from porcini to shiitake to button mushrooms, a whole mix, or just the one mushroom, doesn't matter. I've got about a pound of those. And I've got some spinach over here. I've got some butter and some olive oil. I've got some cheddar here. And I've got some goat's cheese and some fresh herbs. I've got some thyme, fresh thyme and basil, but you could use dried thyme, and you could use parsley, fresh parsley, but the thyme's really good with the mushrooms. And I've got some garlic as well, so that's it. Right, here we are now going to put our savoury filling together, and I've just got some olive oil and the butter in the pan, and I'm just going to add some garlic to that. We're just going to fry that up a little bit before we add the mushrooms. So we've just got our garlic frying nicely, and it's just been on for a few seconds, so I'm just going to add my mushrooms to that and my fresh thyme. You could use dried thyme. If you were using dried thyme, I'd put that in with the garlic, but the fresh thyme I'm not going to. I just want it to stay as fresh, but I want that thyme and the garlic flavour to go through the mushrooms. So I'll just stir that up, and I'll just add a bit of salt and pepper to that. You don't want to add too much salt to this because we've got the goat's cheese going in at the end, and that's quite salty. And then we'll just toss that around. You just want to keep tossing these around and cooking them until they start to get a bit golden, which will take about between 5 and 10 minutes depending on how high and hot your stove is. This is on a medium-high heat. So this has been going for about 1 or 2 minutes now, and as you can see, you start to see the liquid coming out of these mushrooms, and so we'll cook these off until the liquid starts to evaporate, and then that should be right for the mushrooms, and we can add our spinach. So this has been going for about 3 minutes, and I've been stirring these pretty continuously. And as you can see, the juice is gone now, and it's just released the oil and the butter back out of the mushrooms. And I'm just going to add, and it's starting to get a little bit of colour too, so I'm just going to add my spinach now, and we'll just get that just to soften it. It won't take long, and I'll put a little bit at a time so we don't overload our pot. And this will only take a minute max. As you can see now, the spinach is wilting right down, and that's about as far as you really want to take it. I mean, it'll cook a little bit more in the oven, but I'm just going to stop that, turn the heat off, and add my goat's cheese. And this will give it a nice creamy texture. And I'll give it a taste for pepper and salt, and I'll put some fresh basil in, and that'll be it for our filling. So I've just added a bit of butter to the pan, and I'm just going to get my batter and cook my crepe. And I've got about 1/4 cup of, and we're just going to rotate that around, and there is our first crepe. So as you can see now, these edges are starting to curl up and brown, so it's ready to turn over. That's been on about 30 seconds. So we'll just get and flip it over, and as you can see, it's a beautiful crepe. And we'll leave this for another 15-20 seconds, and our first crepe will be ready. So we're putting our crepes together now, and I've just got a greased baking dish, and I'm going to, you could roll your crepes out, but I'm going to fold them into quarters and do it this way. So this is more a traditional French way, and we're just going to fold that into half again, and I'm just going to open up the bottom pocket and put my filling in, and we'll place that in. I'll just flatten that out a bit, and we're going to place that into the pan like that, so. And I'll repeat that process, put them into the oven at about 180 degrees Celsius or 360 degrees Fahrenheit, and sprinkle some cheese on top, and they'll go in there for about 15 minutes. So there you have it, the savoury crepe, spinach, mushroom and goat's cheese, and it looks fantastic. And I'm going to sit down and have this now. So if you want to check out a sweet crepe and have one for dessert, I've got a beautiful crepe with French vanilla ice cream and rich chocolate sauce, so check that out. And there's more videos coming next week and the week after that, and hopefully the week after that. And I'll see you next week on 1,000 Simple Recipes.